Hello, Sdpn crew. My name is Sean Cook. I live in Southern California, and I am applying for a Red Wings post game show because I think that your guys' podcast has a big Red Wings fan base because of the overlap between people who listen to the Wingwheel podcast and the Sdpn podcast. Because you guys did a couple of promotions together, and I think that the biggest thing that I would bring to the table would be that the next season for the Red Wings, first off, they've just been eliminated for the playoff contention, so there is no hope of that. But next season will be another growing season. So analysis after each game, what does this game mean for the overall, the bigger picture, which is not this season or what would be next season, but 2 or 3 seasons from now. So talking about newer prospects getting into lineup like Carter Mazur, Jonathan Berger might get in the lineup, Simon Edvinsson, and also talking about for the rest of this season, new free agent signings who might get their next couple of games. Like there's a Swede who is getting signed. I believe his name is Pontus Andreasen. Talking about sort of bigger picture things rather than being stuck in, well, we lost, so that sucks. Let's talk about the loss. The game they just had last night, Verona got 2 goals, which is amazing because you're just in reference to that Anthony Mantha trade. Verona looks like he's already better than Anthony Mantha will ever be. And we also got the first and the second. So just talking about the games for what actually happened and what it means for the future rather than just this is the result, this sucks, or this is great. The other thing is I do have experience with OBS. I, made a quick little graphic with a bunch of information and pictures. I could do more than this, but this is just a little thing I threw together so that you're not just looking at me. The other thing that I would want for my stream to be sort of like a general rule of thumb is that I think name calling in the sports scene is really cringe. Like when people go on Twitter and they see someone say a take that's bad and they just call them a meathead or just basically raging and calling people idiots for bad takes, which takes can be bad, but if they have some defense, it's usually bad. The worst takes come from people who haven't really given any thought and just throw something out there. Like if they see, someone like William Nylander and they're like, oh, he's European and he is kind of small, like he's not a giant, so he must be this high skill douchebag who doesn't really do much in terms of the game. But if you bring them on the show and if they have an opinion like that in the chat and you bring it up and give them a chance to talk, that you can talk through it and just rather than just calling because as soon as you start name calling them, they're going to be like, well, you're a villain, so I hate you, and there's going to be no sort of discussion going on. But if you could have themselves get enabled, a thing I can imagine is people saying that Lucas Raymond is too small, and Lucas Raymond doesn't do anything aside from pass to Dylan Larkin and gobble up secondary assists. There could be someone in chat who would say that, and what you would do is bring them in and not be able. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to pull up highlights or anything, but talk about sort of the intangibles that Lucas Raymond brings. That he actually is physical, and maybe bring up advanced stuff. So and just talk about it rather than just being like that guy's a clown in chat and just banning him, which is not a good way to grow and have a community. It's a good way to just sort of be on a soapbox and talking to people rather than talking with people. So I think common those things, and I do think the market within your community is there for this show to be successful. I honestly think it would be successful in some of the Canadian shows, but yeah. If you think this would be a good idea, please reach out to me to any of the, my Instagram is here, and my Twitter's here. My YouTube channel is here. If you want it, there are a couple other videos I've made on the YouTube channel, which is just me talking about, off-season stuff. When that was a little off-season thing, and I kind of dropped off on it, but I'd be willing to pick it back up. So yeah, anyway, you want to contact me would be great. Thank you so much.